All right, guys, here is your math message for today. It says, Emily poured an entire 2-liter container of apple juice into 8 separate glasses. Each glass held the same amount. How many milliliters did each glass hold? So there's a few things that you're going to have to do. This is definitely a multi-step problem, so let's write down and highlight what we know. We know that Emily has a 2-liter container of apple juice that she has to fit into 8 glasses that holds the same amount, so they're equal. How many milliliters did each glass hold? So we know that she has 2 liters, and you do liters with a capital L, and we need to figure out how many milliliters will fit into 8 glasses evenly. Okay, now say I don't remember how many milliliters are in 1 liter. This would be really hard for me to do. So I'm going to show you how to access this information in your student reference book so you guys can figure this out at home. So I'm going to go into Everyday Math, and you guys have a little button on your homepage that says Student Reference Book. You also brought the books home with you. So you can look in the index for liters, and it should bring you to the measurement scale, or you could do it this way. You could type on the table of contents, and it will pull down this menu. And you're going to go into measurement and data because we're dealing with measurements. Now, milliliters and liters. It doesn't measure length. It doesn't measure weight. It measures liquid volume, how much liquid is in something. And remember, milliliters and liters is part of the metric system. So in the United States, we measure things in cups, pints, ounces. So we want to click on the metric system. And you can read all about it if you forgot, or you can look at the measurement scale on the bottom. So I'm actually going to zoom in, and we have liters on the top and milliliters on the bottom. So I know now that in 1 milliliter, it's 1 liter, it's 2,000 milliliters. In 1 liter, it's 1,000 milliliters, and in 2 liters, it's 2,000 milliliters. So I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to go into my page here. And I'm actually going to draw my own measurement scale. So this is one way that you can do that. So I'm going to put 0 liters here, 2 liters here, and I'll do a benchmark of 1. So I'm going to put an L to make sure I remember that that's 2 liters. Now, I remember from my student reference book that 2 liters is 2,000 milliliters. 1 liter was 1,000 milliliters, and 0 would just be 0. So, there's a few ways that you guys can do this. You know that if 2 liters holds 2,000 milliliters, and you need to figure out how many can fit in 8 glasses, you can do 2,000 divided by 8. You could do it that way, and that would be pretty quick. If you can't do that high division, or you don't feel comfortable using partial quotient, you can do it this way. But it takes a little bit more mathematical thinking. So I know that I have 8 glasses. So I want to split up my measurement scale into 8 parts, just like you would when you're plotting fractions on a number line. So to make it even, I know that there would be 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. So I'm going to split this into 4 parts. And I like to do it in the center, so that's half, and then split each half in half, and you get perfect fourths. So I always like to go back to the idea of money. So each quarter is 25. If you have 4 of them, it makes $1. Well, this is 1,000. So I know that each tick mark would be worth 250, just like a quarter. Now, when you have 2 quarters, you have 50 cents, but since we're dealing with thousands, it would be 500 and 750. If you added those together, each time you move, you'd be adding 250. So you're adding 250. And eventually you'd get to our benchmark, our halfway point, which is 1,000. So we're going to keep going. So if I went from 1,000 to here, I'd be adding 250, and I'm actually going to erase my milliliters because I'm going to run out of room. So you would get 1,250. If I added another 250, I would get 1,500, and then 1,750. Now, what we just figured out is that every time you move on the measurement scale, you are adding 250. And we did that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to get to 2 liters. Well, there is your 8 glasses. So each glass has 250 milliliters in it. So I just showed you 2 ways you can do it. You can do it with division, which is what we're going to be using for our journal pages, or you can use a measurement scale to kind of plot out how many milliliters would you go each time you moved on the number line. Because remember, every number line has to be even. It has to move the same amount every time. Okay, so that is what we're going to do for right now. If you guys want, I can go over how to do 2,000 divided by 8. So let me just erase some of my work here in case you wanted to do that route or you wanted to just do the simple division. Now, we haven't really done 4-digit divided by 1 digit, so we'll do this one together. So what is a multiple of 8 that would get us close to 2,000? So I'm actually just going to look at what would get us close to 20, which would be 8 times 2, which is 16. But remember, this isn't 20, it's 2,000. So you actually have to do 8 times 200 would be 1,600, which gets you pretty close. So then you would subtract. You have to make this a 10, this a 1. And I'm left with 400. And I know that 400 is a multiple of 8 because I know that 40 is a multiple of 8. Because 5 times 8 is 40, so 50 times 8 would be 400. So I have no remainder, and my answer is 250. So it's 250 milliliters in each glass.